Hello, I'm Mariba Clinton, the chairperson of Group 15. Today we shall be presenting about the feminist theory, and our focus will dwell on the Blossoms of the Savannah by Henry Olekulet, which is a post-colonial text. So to begin with, feminism is the belief in equality in the social, political, and economic space for all the sex, that is, men and women. And one of the proponents of this theory was called Mary Wollstonecraft, who in 1972, in her work titled A Vindication of Rights of the Women, argued that social and political inequality between men and women are not naturally constructed, but rather are socially constructed. This means that it is the society which tends to condition the people in believing that men are more powerful and have more opportunities than women. For example, some of the traditions tend to value the boy child compared to the girl child. Even in the education sector, you find that only the boys were taken to school, but this is in 1972. So, okay, the ratio of boys to girls, it was like the boys were being taken to school more compared to the girls. Also, she questioned about the women exclusion from political life and challenged the patriarchal norm at that time. She believed that it was unfair to women to be left out in the political decision and in leadership roles. At that time, women were not allowed to hold public offices or vote. So she challenged this patriarchal norm because it was male dominated. You find that men took part in most of the activities which involved power, and women were left to be subordinate to their husband and just to take care of the children. So she believed in equality. So that was my time. Now welcome Ivy to take part in recording or to giving her views about this theory. So thank you.
So hello, my name is Ivy Chemta and I'll be taking you through question 2. And question 2 says, what is feminism in literature? And also I should highlight the main tenets, giving examples from Blossoms of the Savannah. So I'll start by defining what feminism is. So feminism is a belief in equal rights, freedom and opportunities for both men and women. In literature, feminism focuses on how women are treated, how they struggle against unfair traditions, and how they fight for their rights and freedom of choice. So I'm going to start by highlighting the main tenets of feminism. So the first one is gender equality, freedom of choice. We have oppression and harmful traditions. Then we have empowerment of women. So I'll start explaining the gender equality, the tenets, and giving examples from Blossoms of the Savannah. So the first one I said is gender equality. So feminism believes that women should be treated equally in all areas as men. For example, in education or opportunities and decision making. So we find that in illustrations from Blossoms of the Savannah when Rezian and Tayo express their urge of joining Egerton University and pursuing their career. Although their tradition says that girls of their age should be circumcised and married off to wealthy old men, Tayo and Rezian fight for their rights of going to school and pursuing their career. And in doing this, they escape home and they go meet a lady called Minik Enenkointoi who helps them pursue their dreams. So this shows that they are fighting for gender equality. So the second one is freedom of choice. So feminism supports women to fight to women's right to make their own decisions in life. So you get this when Rezian refuses to be married off and he runs away saying that she wants to join Egerton University. Although her father had plans of marrying her off to Oloisudori, an old wealthy man, for his own needs, Rezian manages to run away and meets Minik and Nkoitoi, who helps her in pursuing her dreams of joining Egerton University and pursuing the career. So the third one is oppression and harmful traditions. So feminism fights the rights fights against harmful traditions and cultural practices such as female such as girl circumcision and female genital mutilation and forced marriages. So we get this when Tayo and Rezian are at risk of getting female genital mutilation, a traditional practice in Nasila, but they escape and get rescued by Minik and Nkochoi, who protects girls from a harmful tradition and customs, to a point that she was even nicknamed as Wasp because she was against the traditions and culture of the Nasilan community. So the last one is empowerment of women. Feminism encourages women to be strong, educated, and independent. So we get this from Blossoms of the Savannah with Minik who runs to a rescue center for girls and helps them get education. She's a role model who shows that women can lead and fight for other girls.
Discussing on the question why the theory feminism fits the novel Blossoms of the Savannah. So in the novel, there are characters who portray the theory of feminism, such as Resian, Tayo, and Menik. So point one is when Reshan refused to marry Ole Sudori. So Ole Kailo, Resian's father, plans to marry off to Ole Sudori, a wealthy and a rich man who used to help them financially. So he plans all this, and he didn't tell Reshan about the plan of marrying her off to Ole Sudori. So one day Reshan heard about the plan, and she was shocked, terrified, and she felt that she felt betrayed by her father. So she went ahead and told her father that she's not an object to be exchanged or to be married off to Ole Sudori. And she even went ahead and told Ole Sudori that he was a monster. So this shows that she was not going to accept the marriage plan. Yep. So point two is Reshan running away from her home to avoid circumcision and marriage. So Olekailo Rishan's father plans to get Tayo circumcised and married off to Ole Sudori. So when Rishan heard about the plan, she was shocked and terrified, and so she decided to run away from her home because she knew if she was going to stay back at home, she was definitely going to be forced to circumcision and then married off to Ole Sudori. So she escapes from her home Nasila, knowing all the risks and the suffering she was going to go through during the escaping period. So she went through all the sufferings and risks, but at the end she found Minik who helped her who help who help escape the risk of circumcision and forced marriage. Another one is Minik. So Minik Rescuing Center. So Minik is a character in the novel, a woman who runs a rescuing center where she rescues girls who ran away from their home due to harmful cultural practices such as forced marriages, circumcision. Yep. So she gave them a safe place where they were not at. So the people in the community dislike her because she was against the traditions and the customs of the society. So the people referred her as a wasp, but the girls in the center referred her as a hero because she she stands firmly to defend the girl from being engaged in harmful cultural practices. Thank you.
Okay, in point number one, it's a assertion of autonomy. Settings is the KL home in Asila. This is where Shan's lets her father decision to marry or fall in the family home. At the domestic settings is the traditionally seen as a safe space. Ironically, this becomes a site of confrontation, showing how patriarchy can thrive and even with intimacy meant with the nature. That was point one actually. Point two is the resistant culture of oppression. Here, this is the scenes where it set at Nasila town of the from the migration from Nakuru to Nasila, their their home, the community. Okay, in here, the town represents the broader culture traditions. These people were the Mar culture actually. So they had like FGM, early marriages, yeah, those traditional thoughts. So the town represents the broader cultural tradition, especially those enforcing primogenital, FGM, and arranged marriages. The chance here is rejection in the public sphere symbolizes a refusal to conform to the social expectations imposed on a woman, even amid community pressure. He is when Rishan was not the favorite daughter of Molekaela, and through the business seal with Olosodori, Olekaela decided he will marry off his daughter. But all did not went well after the young and ran away from home. The learning coincident, then later ran away to Phoenix place. Okay, point number three is the voice as a power. This is the setting where outside is the homestead and the part of the escape. This is when Christian decided to flee. The opening of the setting from home, far from the constraints of home and tradition, mirrors and her liberation. The journey away marks the physical and emotional break from the bondage control turning landscape into metaphor freedom. Yeah, after she was held by the nurse, Nabarro, the nurse, she flew to Minix ranch, and then there was freedom. She accessed everything she wanted, and later on she enrolled the Egerton University and studied for the veterinary doctor. Those are my points.
Hello everyone, I am Alice Kilonzo. I am going to present skin analysis from the blossoms of the savannah using feminist literary theory. As discussed earlier, feminist theory focuses on how literature represents gender roles, women's experiences, and the struggles for equality between men and women. It helps us notice how patriarchal systems where men hold power and how this affects women's lives. Let me now discuss the examples from the skin. Example 1 is on Alkylo's command. He tells Regine that you have no choice on this matter. A girl does not question her father's decision. This shows how patriarchy silences women. Regine is being treated like she has no voice or right to design her future. Feminist theory highlights how such statements reflect a society where women are denied autonomy. Example 2 is on Regine's protest. She replies, I am not a parcel to be given away. I am a human being. Here Regine claims her dignity and her right to choose. This is a bold act of feminist resistance. She is standing up against a culture that sees girls as property or tools for family gain. Example 3 is on Olesudori's role. Olesudori uses his wealth and influence to pressure Olekailo. He doesn't care about Regine's dreams, feelings, or age. He only wants to possess her. This shows how men in power often exploit women. Feminist theory exposes how rich, hoard, old men often use economic power to take advantage of young women in society. The fact that he sees Regine as a reward shows this deep-rooted objectification of women. How the theory deepens our understanding. Using feminist theory helps us see that the skin is not just a family argument. It represents the struggle between tradition and female empowerment. Point number 2, the pain women go through when they are denied basic rights like education and freedom of choice. Point number 3, the way society expects women to sacrifice their dreams for the benefit of men or family honor. Feminist theory gives us the tools to question and criticize these injustices. It helps us understand why Regiane's fight matters not just for herself, but for all girls facing similar oppression. In conclusion, the skin clearly shows the conflict between oppressive cultural practices and women's desire for freedom. Regiane's strength and briefly reflect the core of feminist theory, challenging male dominances, speaking up for herself, and demanding equality. Through Regiane, we see a young woman who refuses to be controlled, who fights for education, and who stands up against both her father and the society. Feminist theory helped us see the deeper meaning of this skin and understand that literature can be a powerful voice in the fight for gender injustice. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Beverly Nongale Rima. So I'm going to take you through question 6, which is connecting the scene in the Blossoms of the Savannah to the feminist theory. So Blossoms of the Savannah by Henry Oleculet tells the story of the two sisters Regiane and Tayo as they navigate cultural expectations, gender roles, and personal aspirations in the patriarchal mass society. So the scene in focus is going to be Regiane and Tayo. So connecting the scene to the feminist theory, my first point is on assertion and bodily autonomy. So feminist theory strongly defends a woman's right to make decision about her own body. But in the Ma culture, women were expected to respect their husbands. So Regiane's refusal to undergo FGM and get married to Oloisudori challenges the Ma practices that denies bodily autonomy. My second point is going to be on resistance to patriarchal authority. So her father Olekailo represents patriarchal control, expecting that Regiane should obey him without questioning. So Regiane's rebellion symbolizes feminist resistance to male-dominated system that silence women. So my third point is going to be on right to education. So in the Ma culture, only male were educated. We can see that Ole Supeo circumcised her daughters and married them off to prominent men in the societies, while took his boys to big schools. So Regiane aspires to join Egerton University to pursue veterinary, reflecting feminist call for equal access to education. So education is portrayed as part of liberation from oppression and cultural norms and empowerment to girls by Monique. So my fourth point is going to be on rejection of gender roles. So the expectation that Regiane should become a submissive wife after circumcision reflects the gender stereotyping. So Regiane was expected just to be a submissive wife to Oloisudori after circumcision. So her refusal challenges their roles, advocating for the freedom of choice beyond traditional expectations. So my fifth point is going to be on solidarity among women. Characters like Monique and Kointoi supports girls reflecting harmful tradition. We can see that Minik had a ranch, so he used to help girls to escape from those traditions. So the feminist theory promotes the female solidarity as a powerful tool for society change and protection. So in conclusion, Rizan and Taiyo's journey in the blossoms of the savannah symbolized feminist rebellion against patriarchal tradition grounded in collective strength, education, and bodily autonomy. Thank you.
I'm Okesa Ruth, and I'll be taking you through the importance of the feminist theory. So the first importance is that it shows how men have had power in the society. So this simply means patriarchy, where men have had the power to make decisions in the society. The second importance is that it helps us see how this affects women in unfair ways. So such unfair ways are, let's say, the right of education, where in the Maa culture, only the male were allowed to get access to the education. Then another point is it fights for equal rights for both women and girls. So such rights are the rights of education, where in the Maa culture, as I've already said, only the male were allowed to get access to education. The other point is it encourages boys and girls to be treated the same way, for instance, or in simple terms, to get access to education. The fifth point is it helps women feel strong and confident. So yeah, women get access to making also decisions in the society. Then it helps change unfair laws. So such unfair laws are right to education. So this makes the female also get access to education. And the seventh importance is that it helps teachers, or it teaches people to respect everyone. So respect will go, or goes both ways, both for the both genders, male and female. Then the eighth importance is that it talks about problems like domestic violence. Then the ninth and the last one, it speaks about or speaks out against harmful practices. So such harmful practices include FGM, the female genital mutilation, and forced marriages. Thank you.
My name is Mary Magdalene. I'm taking you through the insight of feminist theory in Blossoms of the Savannah. Number 1, patriarchal oppression and gender inequality. Feminist theory exposes how women and girls are denied freedom and are treated as inferior. In Blossoms of the Savannah, women are expected to obey men, undergo female genital mutilation, and accept arranged marriages. We can see Resian is to be married to Oloisudori and undergo FGM, which she strongly opposes. Number 2, female resistance and rebellion. Feminist theory values women's ability to resist oppression. Blossoms of the Savannah presents Taiyo and Resian, who challenge traditional gender roles. We see Resian runs away from marriage and female genital mutilation. She expresses her desire to pursue higher education and become independent. Number 3, empowerment through education. Feminist theory emphasizes education as a tool for women liberation. In Blossoms of the Savannah, educated women are portrayed as strong and influential. We can see Minik rescue girls from harmful traditions and support their education. Number 4, female solidarity and support. Feminist theory highlights the importance of women standing together. In Blossoms of the Savannah, women help each other overcoming injustices. We see Minik helping Resian escape and also rescues Taiyo. Mama Milanoi, though torn, sympathizes with her daughters. Thank you.
So, as a group, we hope this presentation has deepened your understanding of both the novel and the feminist perspective. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.